Okay, so the technology that I've selected is the Kahoot program to use. My goal when dealing with adult learners, just from my own experience, I don't have any formal training on it, is just that the more interactive things are and the more entertaining it is, the more my attention has always been captivated, and the more that I'm actually willing to learn something from the lecture or the demonstration or whatever that's going on. So when I create something, I want to try to do integrate an interactive thing along with the education. So the way I kind of foresee that happening is we're going to start with the PowerPoint. The topic particularly I picked here was asthma. Then we'll just start kind of going through that. So for our example here, we're going to start with the pathophysiology of exactly what asthma is and what happens here. And basically what we can see from these pictures here is we have a normal airway that I'm circling right here. And then in the middle we have an asthmatic airway. This is just how they sit in between attacks on day-to-day things. There's a lot more inflammation, a lot more swelling kind of coming around here, and the muscles are used to constricting so hard when they have attacks that they kind of get just hypertrophied or enlarged themselves. And then when they have an acute attack, what ends up happening is this muscle constricts down like we just talked about. And the other big thing that happens is when we have that immune response, we end up with a lot of edema and inflammation. And the other thing is we end up with this mucus production. So not only does the overall airway here kind of clamp down, but we actually end up getting too much mucus production into that middle of that airway. So what little airway is left often ends up getting plugged up with mucus. And that's just kind of how the disease process works. So from here, then I kind of imagine our next thing, we're going to have here a Kahoot question. So we'll just hop on over to this. We've got our players in, and we're going to start it. I stole this from a nursing asthma Kahoot, and then we'll let the students kind of participate in this. So just going over our one slide, what is asthma? What exactly is going on in asthma? So we have our different options here. Diseases that cause the mucosal edema and mucus production. We already know that that's the answer because we just talked about it. Causes cough and sputum, characterized up here. Airflow. We know that A is the answer, so we're going to go ahead and answer with the triangle one. Now, as you'll see here, I just answered with the triangle, which was the correct answer, but there's a second addition to this, which would be over here in the green one. So we have me on my iPhone here. I scored 574 points, not bragging, but my other friend here, Body, didn't score any because he was incorrect. So for me, then I want to kind of go back to PowerPoint, and I want to just discuss, because the one thing they taught us in medical school is don't just talk about the correct answers, talk about why the other answers were incorrect. So I'd go back over with my students and say, so the this blue diamond over here that says characterized by airflow initiation, that is not reversible. So the difference here is this word reversible, because one of the key factors to asthma is that we can give you some medications and we can reverse what's going on and we can put you back to normal. You can go about your day, have an asthma attack, it goes into one thing, and we can reverse it the other direction. Down here, causes a cough and sputum production for at least 3 months. That's basically the definition of bronchitis. And then the green one down here, abnormal distension of the air sacs. That's basically the disease process of emphysema. So we can tell that, like, if this was said emphysema is, then we would know that that's the answer. And why is this blue one incorrect? So from here, we want to talk about a beta agonist, right? Moving on with the classroom material. So a beta agonist actually works directly on the smooth muscle to cause them to relax. So again, we have our normal lung that's sitting right here. When we have an asthma attack, these red bands that are coming around here are actually smooth muscle that surround the bronchioles, and they constrict down to try to protect your bottom of your airways, your terminal airways, from having more antigens inhaled down to these lower things. So it kind of suffocates ourselves, is what the whole defense mechanism is caused by. So when we give a beta 2 agonist, they have beta 2 receptors on here. The agonist activates them. When this gets the beta 2 agonist, it actually causes the muscle to relax and returns back over to the normal state that it is, which is the whole principle behind giving a patient albuterol when we treat them. So understanding this principle, then again, we can just switch right back over to Kahoot. We can go to our next question. It's quiz time. Everybody pull out your phones that you're already logged into, and we're going to have a question. This one's hard to read up here. It says beta adrenergic agonist as a type of medication that constricts the airway. No, that would be the wrong answer here. Dilates the blood vessels. Nope, that's not the case. Constricts the airways and dilates. No, it's going to constrict blood vessels, and it's going to open up our airways. So we know that it's going to be the green one, so I'll answer to that. This time you'll notice that we only have one answer here. We don't have two. So again, we'll go here and we'll see people getting their points that they earned on the thing. Hooray, da da da. And then I want to go back over my PowerPoint. We had our Kahoot question. So again, we just want to talk about this. Beta adrenergic is basically your adrenaline. It's a component of epinephrine, and it actually causes a constriction of blood vessels to increase your blood pressure so you can get nutrients where you need it. It opens up the airway so that you can get more oxygen into your body. Constricting airways and dilates, that's the exact opposite of what we just talked about, so that makes this one actually the correct one. So then we have the next topic, mast cells, histamine, how they affect, and all that other things. But one of the things I just wanted to show you here is we have our points here and we have body. Now that body, it actually is just a bot that I asked to participate or programmed. It's coming here. It's at this one is at Kahoot.rocks, and it's broken. A lot of these pop up, and then Kahoot puts a lot of effort into killing them, but there's always somebody who's creating a new one that's less. So this one, just to go through this, it says that it will answer in a minimum of 100 milliseconds, and it will do a max delay of 100 milliseconds. So the student can actually program it to instantly answer, or it can say, no, wait a few seconds so you don't get suspicious, and it kind of goes back and forth. It can also change it how much it's actually going to respond with 100%, 90%, whatever it wants, again, to kind of keep the things from being suspicious. It's tracking your game here, so you could just be sitting here eating your cereal or doing something else, and it tells you the bot that you put in here, it's currently ranked 2nd out of 2. It scored 0 points because it's broken. This one doesn't work anymore. But the last thing I wanted to talk about with these Kahoot hacks is this little guy in the bottom corner here. One of the other things students have been doing, I've seen on the internet, is they just want to spoil the game for everybody. So one of the things you do, if you click on this bot, when it's in the loading screen and it's waiting for players to join, you can type in a name here, if this will wake up for me. Big Red. Ooh, VIF Red, I guess. And you can say, I would like to add 150 to this game, and you hit add clients. And when you do that, the teacher is looking at their screen, and it'll see VIF Red 01, VIF Red 02, VIF Red 03, and it'll just flood the market, flood your game with too many things, and there's really not much you can do about it. So Kahoot is a great game. It causes people to be interactive. It causes the students to keep their attention on what's going on. However, you just have to be careful. If somebody is amazingly answering instantaneously, particularly when you have very lengthy worded questions, you might get suspicious that perhaps something else like this might be going on. But anyway, that's my technology that I've chosen. It's Kahoot. Hope you enjoyed.